Alright, hey everyone, here we are back for a second set of guides here. Now, one of the things you'll want to make sure is you don't get too aggressive here. I mentioned this on the first set. The ball does tend to land just a little bit shorter of where the target shows, so you don't want to get too aggressive and land in that rough. So you'll see that I'm very casual with this. I'm hoping we can at least get a side wind for this second shot, because that first wind was kind of nasty. And it looks like for the most part we did. So with the side wind, we don't have to worry too much about going out of range. And again, we're going to do probably pretty similar to what you saw last time. We might crank it up just a little bit more, 3 backspin instead of 2. Shouldn't get quite nearly as much rollout. Now, one of the things you can see from the last shot is we can kind of learn something. So if we went 5 rings last time on a 7-1 and we were still light on the adjustment with an 8, I'm going to make sure I'm at least 6 rings in on this, minimum. So we're going to be up here more in 6 territory. Hopefully the little bit of extra play will get us online and potentially give us a drop. You can see it's coming in, playing the slope. If it would have came in just a little bit slower, that might have been good. So just one more backspin. You can see, I'm kind of right directly behind the hole. It just came in too hot, so that's why it was came through to the left. If I would have had that perfect, who knows? Maybe you could have had that one. So it's really all about distance control and just anticipating the amount that your ball guide is going to kind of collapse down in those headwinds, and I over-anticipated that one just a tad. But keep that in mind. Very tricky wind in this scenario. I don't like to do this, but we're going to have to do the driver shot. I don't quite have enough backspin for this yet. Now, what would I typically play at min club here? Typically about 2 per ring, I'm thinking. So you'll see at 2 per ring, I'm just going to try to just barely get this one to the green. It's kind of the goal here. And you can see I'm leaving 4 rings onto the green, at least 4.5, just to be on the safe side. So we're about, but I expect it to land, 3.5, 4, somewhere in there. You can see it just pops right up into the air, and we're able to stop it, but it is a little long. The more backspin you get on that fusion, the easier it's going to be. And hopefully you do have a fusion, because otherwise a headwind drive like that is going to be nearly impossible to stop. So you're going to have to resort to the bump, which means you have to find a club that has at least 6 topspin, like an El Capitan, for example. And you'll have to reduce that wind down with at least a 25% ball, maybe a 40, because you're going to need to go at least 6 or so topspin. It's the only other way you're going to be able to get that close in that headwind. So, I didn't get to cover that there. I wanted to at least cover the driver shot for those of the guys that have unlocked fusion. You'll see fusion is pretty easy to unlock in this game, so I'm not, hesitant to play with fusion, because it's only a matter of time. As soon as you hit that 1,700, 1,800 trophy count mark, you're going to see it in the shop. You're going to be able to buy as many cards as you want. And it's going to rotate. You're going to get it a couple times a week. So with the current state of the game, very easy to get that club. But with that being said, there's no alternative for backspin. So if you don't have that fusion, you're kind of in a tough situation. And I'm hoping, in the future that changes a little bit, and they try to, balance things out just a little bit more. So here you can see, we're going to play kind of an opposing spin from what we did last time. So now we're going to do 2 to the left, because we're trying to play the effect down the hill. Now, what are we trying to do? We're trying to land this about 4 rings or so, somewhere in that neighborhood. So if it's going to land 4 rings, I'm expecting it to land here, and then have kind of that secondary wind effect pushing it to the right. I'm not going to be too worried about curl for this one, because it does have a tendency to kind of hang out to the left. So Let's just see how this comes in. It looks like I just missed it. But you can see we get aggressive there. Should have just used the hair of curl. So it rolls a little bit down the hill, but nothing too out of control. And let's just see where we leave ourselves. But, you know, as I mentioned, you could just very as well make that. Well, let's just see how we finish. It looks like we're good. There's only 1-8 so far in my bracket. And you can see I have pretty much the best tiebreaker here. So following my guides, you know, it's going to put you in a good position. You know, hopefully you're able to replicate my shots or do some variation. Take all those tips into consideration. Good luck out there and see you guys next time. Take care.